All right, I'm going to cover a few more pieces here, just to clean up some of the ones that are related to other pieces before we move on to some of the more difficult and more kind of specialized shapes here. So this one, first one is going to be super simple. So I'm just going to make this one, but is triple the height. So I'm going to lasso select to make sure that I get the top edge of each, the outside top here, and on the inside on the top too, as well as the edge that runs beneath it. You can also do that in edge mode, but I personally prefer to do it with vertices. Grab it, drag it up 6.4 millimeters, drop the tool, and we're done. This one I had also I had hollowed out this underside piece here, so that one's ready. I am going to go over here to the shader tree, and since I brought this in, I want to make sure that I have this just material here, and I'm going to delete the one with the item mask on it, so we'll just keep our shader tree relatively clean as we make these. So let's go ahead and save that preset. So this is 1, 2, oops. Make sure I just have individual items selected. There we go. Save item preset. So 1, 2, tall, opaque. Alrighty. And go over and just check in our layout, make sure it's there. Yep, and then there's other opaque one that I'd made. The original one that we'd made here that didn't have the hole down the middle on the underside, that's the ones that's actually transparent. I'll probably go back and adjust that name. But yeah, either way, as long as one of them is marked opaque at least. All right, so that one's ready. Now we're going to make another one that's going to be a variation off of our very first piece here. So let's go ahead and hide that. And this piece is triple the height, but then it has a twist on it, and that is that it has a bump with a hole extending off of one edge. So I'm going to grab this entire thing and drag this up 6.4 millimeters. Okay, that works. And now what we need to do is we need to get something like this onto the side in the right place here. So what I'm going to do, just to make things a little bit easier, is I'm going to take and I'm going to drop in another one of these, and I'm going to move it off to the side 8 millimeters. And I'm going to move it up 3.2. And what that will do is that will put this at a good point to measure. Oops, passed it up. There we go. Oops, I'm sorry here. I'm thinking of a different piece here. Let's undo that entirely. So actually, this piece will have to go right here, and the bottom edge of this ring will be touching that right there. So let's go back over to this piece here, and we'll just have that one as our reference. So I'm going to select down to here and get that rim, just so that I'm got everything put together well. And I'm going to copy this and hide, paste, rotate. Let's just rotate around. Yeah, might help if I select the piece there. There we go. Now let's rotate. So I'm going to rotate this around 90 degrees. I'm going to move it over till it lines up with this edge, 4.8 millimeters. And now we just have to drag it down to where it is just touching that piece there. Okay, we'll go ahead and unhide our other piece. And now all we need is somewhere to attach this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this middle section here, run loop slice, count of 2, uniform. All right, and now let's select that middle one. And we'll cut that out. And I probably could have made an extra loop slice down towards the bottom here so that this links up just with the top part, but this should be totally fine here. So let's go ahead and run our bridge tool. And we should be in pretty good shape even already here. So let's check and see this. I'm going to bring the other one in. We can see. Okay, placement wise, looks like we're good to go here. So let's go ahead and finish this off. Now, one thing I'm going to have to do is get a similar hole on the inside. So I'm going to run loop slices on the inside here too. Just put that on uniform, and let's see. Let's go ahead and take this part here, and just like on the other pieces here, I've got to bevel this in, and we've already gone in 100 so I'm going to bevel in, and it's going to be the same thing here. We're going to go in 6, and another 100. Okay, and then we're going to bevel and go all the way back until we meet this inner wall. So that's going to be, well, here, let's just do it this way. We can pull it back here first. I'm just going to pull it back until it goes past the surface. And I'm going to, make sure I have that selected still. Run the scale tool, action center set to element. Click on any of the faces in here. And, well, make sure negative scaling is off. I'm just going to flatten that down. First, it's probably not going to quite work, but that's all right, because now I'm going to cut that piece out. I'm going to select this area here, cut that out. We'll select this section, run the bridge tool. Oops, in this case, I'm going to reverse the direction. And I'm going to run loop slices through here. And loop slices through there. Actually, we don't need that one, so I'll go ahead and delete it. And we are all set, I believe. Let's go over and check that out in our non-wireframe mode. And that is looking just about right. All right, so let's go ahead, go to item mode here, and I'm going to save my item preset, and we'll call this one tall side hole. And since I'm just going to leave that in a humpback style, the side hole is one word. Since it's an extra description on it, that just kind of help me keep organized a little bit. Yeah, so let's go ahead and save that. Sure, actually here, let's do this. Let me clean up my shader tree just to make sure I don't get anything extra in there. Let's delete those, and then I'm gonna, I've got my item selected here. Make sure I just have the one item selected, and then I'll save. Let me replace that. Okay, so let's go over and check our layout. Okay, so we've got those 3 new pieces. What I think I'm going to do, and this will help a little bit with my preview here. Let's rotate this at the origin, 90 degrees, and let's resave that here. So didn't do it. Not quite there. Oh, I may have to do this here in, yeah, I gotta do this in poly mode. Let's try this again. I just want to make sure I get this facing a direction so I can see it in my preview, although I guess I'll end up rendering a preview of this anyway, but I want to keep things straight. Yeah, there we go. I want to keep things straight before I have my rendered previews in there. I can go over here and actually set those up while I'm thinking of them. So anyway, so there's those. There are those pieces. Oops. Layout. The opaque, the short. Oh, and sorry, there's one more here. Let's just throw it all together here, and that's again, it's based off of this one. Which let's go ahead and I'm going to mesh here. I'm just going to reset this guy back to where it belongs. Pull it over 8 millimeters. Okay, and this one is going to be, it's a variation on this piece. It has, hanging off to the side here, it has a cylinder that meets up there. So let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here by actually getting this cylinder here. So let's, yeah, that'll be fine. So let's copy that. Actually, here, let's just leave off that inner part there. Okay, I'll make it easier. That way when we bridge it, it'll have an easier time. And let's go over to this one. And paste. And we need to rotate this 90 degrees. Let's change our action center back to automatic. There we go. And I need to move this so that it is off to the side. And well, let's see, it's actually going to be more than that because it needs to be centered over. If this were to be laying over another piece, it would be right over the bump on it. So we'll align this here in a second. Here, actually, let's just very quickly do this. I'm going to take this whole thing and move it over 8 millimeters. That'll give us something to align with. There we go. Yeah, that's working pretty well. Okay, and the other thing is that this piece will move out, and it doesn't come quite flush, but it kind of splits the difference between the outside wall and the inside wall. So we'll just come out to right there. Okay, and then I'm going to mirror that over on the Z. Right, so we're getting there here. Let's move it down into place now. And so it's good to have these for reference. This part of it actually aligns with the bottom of the piece, and then it has this intersection here that is wider. And these are the same height as this, so we want to leave these as they are. Oops. Just get our boundary there. Oops, we don't need that one, so let's go ahead and just select that and that. Well, if I can select one at a time. There we go, so select that one and that one. Go ahead and maximize this. And I'm going to use edge extend here. And I'm going to cut right over to my scale tool and pull out, I think it would be 125%. Let me check there. Yep, that looks right. So 125% is going to bring us to the right out there. And I'm going to go ahead and run my bridge tool. First direction. And now I'm going to have to be kind of thoughtful about how I run this section here, because this section, let's run loop slices there to keep this nice and tight. Also going to need loop slices here and here. Actually, don't need them on the inside. Let's go ahead and get those out of there, those extra ones. While I'm seeing it, I'm going to go ahead and just delete these UVs out of here, because that's going to bug to no end if those aren't taken care of. So we'll delete those UVs. There we go. So we don't have that logo showing up on there. Okay, but we have a little bit of an inner ridge here. This part will come in just a little bit, and then it will bridge over to this piece right here. So what I want is I want to take these 3 polygons, and I want to attach them to a similar group of 3 polygons. So probably this, this, and this. That's looking a little tall, actually. What I might want to do is rotate this a little bit. I think I'll do that. There we go. Now we'll split the difference and it's going to taper out just a little bit, which is just about what we want. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these 3 edges here, I'm going to copy them, and I got a little bit of a messy scene here I'll have to go and clean up, but oops, hiding the wrong thing. There we go. I paste these in, and I'm going to move these out just a little bit so they're not stuck on that surface anymore. And then I'm going to turn snapping to geometry, constrain to background. There we go. And I'm just going to drag these over. That's not working very well. Let's drag this over, and we'll try this again. Let's actually flip the polygon. And it looks like we just don't have enough data for this to stick to it on the underside here. So what I'm going to do is I take this piece here and copy it. This is sometimes an issue that we'll have, so not a big deal. What I'm going to do is copy it, hit the D key a couple times to res that up. And let's switch over to this layer again. Make sure that I'm in polygon mode. My move tool, got all my vector constraints active, and oh, I know why. It's because these edges, let's fix this before we even go on. These edges are really, really close together because those are just loop slices to tighten that. So I'm going to pull those in like that. Now I'm going to run this, and we'll pull it back. That should give me a much better constraint. Yeah, that does. So let's go over here to our main mesh. That's not it. That's it. And let's hide that higher res one that we've made. So I'm going to need to attach those 3 onto 3 right here. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to take these 3 and cut them out. And now we'll go back to this layer, cut that out, paste that in. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bridge these 2 together here. And now that's going to give me a better place to bridge to there. So bridge, set. Let's attach that there. And one thing that I look at this, looks like the edges are a little bit sharper. And subdivide and see what we've got here. Okay, I don't really have any extra edges that we can run through here. So what I'll probably do is I'm going to run, oops, looks like I missed one. I'm going to run a loop that goes all the way around this and down to the underside of that. Okay, I'm going to run loop slice. Counter 2 symmetry, and I want to make sure I turn on slice selected here. I don't want those to be extraordinarily tight, but something like that. And now we subdivide that, that will work. We're going to end up with this n-gon here, and there are a couple of ways that we can deal with that. And could deal with it by making a triangle. Could deal with it by, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these 2 points here, and I'm going to run vertex join averaged. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom before I do anything else. Let's grab this one and this one, join averaged. Okay. And select this whole loop here. And I'm just going to run a single loop slice down the middle there, and this will just keep my quads going because now I have a quad here. And when we check this over here, we should be in real good shape. I do need to run a couple of loop slices. Oops, turn off slice selected and turn the count back to 2. I'll just tighten that up. Oh, it looks like we forgot one last thing, and that is this edge needs to be bridged across to its counterpart on the other side. Select those, the bridge tool, and since those had already beveled in a little bit, we should be totally set on those. All right, there we go. So there's that piece ready to go. Let's go ahead and save our preset. So we go over to the shader tree, make sure that we just have the base gray. Select that item. And save the item preset. 1, 1. I'm going to keep that side hole text. That seemed to work well. Same kind of thing. And let's go over and check our layout, make sure. Yep, there we go. All right, so starting to get a real nice shelf full of pieces here. In fact, I think I'm going to scale down our logos or our images a little bit so we can see them better. All right, so that just about does it for the simple stuff. All that we have left are pieces with a significant amount of additional complexity. So come on back in the next video and we'll start working on those.